All right, so before we get started, here's some affirmations for emotional detachment. I focus my energy on my own life. I give the people around me freedom to be who they are. I release all burdens that are not mine to carry and create space to receive what is in alignment with my best self. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah V, and today we're going to be talking about emotional detachment. I personally feel like this video is going to be a little bit different in comparison to some of the other videos you've watched, because a lot of the videos are showing you how to detach after the situation, and I feel like it's important to learn some tips or methods that you can use to detach prior, because I truly believe like prevention is better than cure. So for me, what I'm about to tell you is going to help you um, have a healthy detachment style before you get into any type of relationship, or even if you're in the midst of a relationship, to start detaching in a healthy way. Because I feel like when we get angry or we're hurt or someone does us wrong, then we feel like we got to go into savage mode and start to detach that way. Like, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, because we're feeling hurt, we're coming from a place of hurt. But if you come from a healthy place of protecting your peace, then it makes things a little bit easier for you to manage than for you to just be like in this chaotic state of, oh, I'm gonna be a savage now. Now that you've done me wrong, now I'm gonna be a savage. I'm gonna use these methods to detach from you um, because I'm hurt. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's take these 5 tips that I have and help you be emotionally healthy and emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature within yourself, and then for the people that are around you. Okay, so the first one is, do not become obsessed with someone else's problem. A lot of times someone will tell us something or they'll vent to us, and then we get so invested in what they have going on that we start trying to look for solutions to their problems. Pause. It's not your problem. You have to allow them to figure out their own situation. You can be supportive. You can give them advice if they ask for it, but don't put yourself out there trying to figure out like, hey, oh, you know what, actually I think this is the best thing that you can do, and da 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 da, because then you get invested in what the person's outcome is, and then it becomes hard for you, then you become attached. It becomes hard for you to get out of it, because now you're carrying that energy around with you, you're thinking about it day and night, and that's not good for you, and it's not good for them, because now and sometimes people get more invested in the person's situation than the actual person is invested in their own situation. Yeah, so don't become obsessed or over whelm yourself with someone else's situation. It's not your burden. Okay, number 2, set emotional boundaries. I remember specifically my own situation. There was a time that I was going through a whole bunch of stuff. I was feeling so overwhelmed, and one of my friends called me and they were like, hey, we're talking like, oh, and the person goes, oh, how are you doing? And I proceeded to start venting about like everything that was going on that day. Stuff just wasn't going right. And then before I even got too far, they were like, yo, that's a little bit too much for me to carry. And it wasn't even like I was saying anything crazy, but they were like, hey, it's too much. I just asked you how you were doing, and you're going overboard with telling me like everything and all your problems and stuff like that. So I can't personally deal with that. So I prefer if you just not talk about that. And it took me back, because I was like, what? I was like, okay. People usually just listen. They listen. They don't really be like, oh, it's too much for me. But obviously the person was emotionally mature and was like, hey, this is too much. I can't handle that right now. And I feel like it's important for us to have that discipline within ourselves. If you know for a fact, like you just got so much going on, you need to set that boundary with people. Like, it's what you're saying is a lot. So pause. You know what I mean? Maybe you can talk to someone else about it, or you can get some help with that. But right now, I can't handle um, everything that you're saying. So let's not talk about it. And it doesn't have to be something that's weird. You know, you can just say it. Just say it. Just say it. That's the best thing that you could do. Just say it, because you're going to get your point across, and hopefully they're going to stop and just reconsider how much information they're sharing. Because sometimes too, people tend to, they're going through something and then they want to overshare, like, and it's not good for them and it's not good for you, because it's a lot of unnecessary information that most likely they're going to give you. Very unnecessary and very unhealthy for the both of you. And if you're going to listen, you have to listen without losing yourself in the person's situation or the person's story. And if you know that you can't do that, then it's important to tell that person, set that boundary, and tell them, hey, you've gone too far. You're sharing too much with me. Okay, number 3, focus on your goals. You want to make sure that you stay busy, you stay productive, especially if you're trying to detach from someone. Like, you're in a situation where you already feel like you're too attached. It's important to start focusing on your own goals. If you haven't done so, create a list of goals and start attacking that list one by one. Having one goal and then having like 3 action steps to complete that goal. So let's say I want to lose like 15 pounds or 20 pounds. Then I would create 3 action steps. So eat oatmeal every morning, go to the gym for 30 minutes a day, and then drink 8 glasses of water, something like that. And then if you start focusing on those things, you keep yourself busy, you keep yourself productive. It's less time for you to be focusing on someone else because you're so invested in yourself. So that's really important. Stay focused on yourself, focus on your own problems, your own issues. And I promise you that'll give you enough to do that you won't even want to take on anybody else's emotions or energy or anything like that. Okay, number 4 is allowing people to make their own mistakes. I remember when I was younger, I used to really want to like help everyone. And I was just so like, yeah, you know, I can help this person, I can do this, I can do that. But it comes to a point where you start to interrupt that person's process. Like, everyone has their own process, they have their own path that they have to go through. You yourself have your own path. And if you're doing too much, if you're too invested, you're going to start interrupting the things that person has to go through in order to become who they need to become. You know what I mean? In order to become their best self. So I had to tell myself that, like, you have to take a step back and allow this person to make their own mistakes, to go through the necessary things that they need to go through, because that's how you become better. A lot of times you make your mistakes and you learn from those mistakes. And like they say, if you make a mistake and you don't learn from it, you'll keep repeating that same mistake. But if you keep interjecting yourself into that person's life, you're not going to allow them to get to the point where they're learning from their mistakes. They're going to keep failing. So in order to emotionally detach, remove yourself from that person's outcome. Allow that person to be who they are and go through what they need to go through. And you have to like rewire your brain and tell yourself, like, all right, if I allow them to go through what they're going through, they will succeed eventually. But if I keep interrupting this process, they're going to fail repeatedly. So rewire your brain, tell yourself that, and back up. Let the person do what they got to do. Let them go through what they need to go through to get through to the other side. Okay, so the last tip that I have for you to emotionally detach is to not take things personally. Don't take anything personally. A lot of times it's the person's own issues that they're going through. That's why they're acting the way that they're acting. So when you don't take things personally, the other side to that is also to respond. Don't react. When someone does something to you that you don't like, or makes you feel a certain type of way, do not react. Take the time to step back and reevaluate the situation, and then respond. to the situation. Respond when you're settled and you feel like, okay, this is what I'm taking from the situation, and this is how I choose to respond to it. Now you're in control of yourself, and you're not going to be like emotionally just like, chaotic about what's going on. So, okay, so those are all the tips that I have for you guys. Tell me which one you're using down below. So I hope these tips helped you, and you can learn how to emotionally detach in a healthy way that allows you to still maintain your life and be productive. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.